And here we go. Wayne and Audsie, this mic is all yours.
Hey, buddy, how you doing? What's happening? This is Reverend Wayne Stills from Miracles Everywhere. It's good to be here. Hey, Mikhail. Hey, Sharon. Hey, Audsie. Audsie, and me gonna be reading From Anxiety to Love. Which is a book written by Corman Zupa, and it's a heck of a book, and we're getting through it pretty well here. We stop and go, but that's the way to read the. It's a book study, or as Audsie puts it, the BS with Audsie and Wayne, Audsie and Rev Wayne, and it's good stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play a song. I was gonna play something from the text also, but I'm gonna wait till Thursday. I have some time on Thursday. We have a throwback, which is not gonna take up the whole time, so I'll wait till Thursday for that. And today I'll just play a song and then we'll get straight to it. So Ozzy and I can get straight to the book. We haven't read this for a while because I was gone for about 10 days. So I don't think we've read this for a couple of weeks. So we kind of could get back to it. So this song is a relaxing song. Kind of relax, get into a nice little nice mood. All right, it was Lumen Nature. Lumen Nature by Adriana Maserati, and Corcelli. That's their names. And by Lumen Nature. Uh, if I came in here and I was listening to Keith talk about I need to do nothing, and of course that's my mantra. If you look at Miracles Everywhere, it says right underneath there, I need to do nothing. So it's good to hear it. We don't need to do anything. It's been done for us already. All we have to do is connect to the reality of our situation. It's good to hear it. I wake up every morning and I just remind myself that nothing is going on today. All I have to do is kind of sit back, relax, and stroll. So another day of strolling for me. I didn't hear the whole thing, of course. I just kind of the very end, but it sounds like it was good. Um, I haven't heard much of Keith Kavanaugh. I've seen him a lot on YouTube when I pass by, but I haven't sat down and listened to much of him. Anyhow, all right. So, Audsie, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. And that
Yeah,
was an awesome song.
that's nice, huh?
Lynn commented and said in the chat, amazing music. So
Yeah, it was
thank
nice.
you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it was
Thank you
nice. It
for
was
sharing that.
nice and
Beautiful.
peaceful. Nice and peaceful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm ready. It's been a while since we've done this book here. Feels like a long time at least. It's been at least about 2 weeks there, I say, right?
Yeah,
Somewhere
I
around
think
there.
so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just getting us up here. So
Yeah.
last time we were in step 3, look directly at what's coming up for you. And we were in these what we're afraid of. I think we got to
Oh,
I'm afraid of being sick.
oh
And then
yeah.
that was it.
That's a biggie.
Oh
Pretty
my
being sick,
God.
and then I spent 10 days, I was
Then
sick as a
you were
dog.
gone. Oh my gosh, that is crazy, Rev Wayne.
Yeah. Well, what do you do? I got now I'm back, and I feel I'm not afraid of that anymore. Really, I mean, I think about it a lot, but that's part of having the dopamine. You tend to get concerned about stupid things like that. But I realize it's not that. It's not death. I guess it's dying is the thing. That's the problem that you have is dealing with all the pain and suffering that comes with it. Which is, that's the text I wanted to, which is chapter 27, section 7 and 8, talks about pain and suffering.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to kind of go through, which the great chapters because they kind of go with the lessons that we've been working on the past couple of days. But
Do you want to bring those in today, Rev Wayne? Because
I,
there's no.
I was gonna bring. I was gonna do Thursday. We have some time on Thursday, if you remember. So I figured I'd wait till
Oh yeah.
Thursday. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
we have some time. I mean, our throwback is only about 15-20 minutes, so we have some time. So I feel I'll wait till then. I mean, it's just that it was interesting because I spent a week in a place where I don't normally go.
Yeah.
You know, but when you have a lot of time sitting around doing nothing all day long. I mean, literally having strolls to get to the TV set, and then you hit the bottom, and then you kind of crawl your way back up, and then insights on the way back up. You get insights,
Nice.
and God tells you, all right, try this, try that, try this, try that, and eventually, God's He brings you through, and you try different things. And next thing you know, I'm cutting pills in half, and usually it's less. I know that it's the ego if I hear, all right, take 40 more pills. And then I know the ego was sitting there trying to pile up more medicine on me. Usually I'm taking things away, putting things down. And
That's
yeah,
beautiful.
it was the gabapentin. You know that, right?
Yes, yeah. Wow,
You
that
know,
is amazing.
I've been taking that. I've been taking that since I was in my early mid 30s.
Yeah,
And one of the side effects is bad balance,
right.
or in my case, because of Parkinson's, good balance. One of the two.
Yeah.
So for a long time, they told me it was working fine. And suddenly, out of nowhere, it got toxic.
Yeah.
So I had to cut it in half. And now I'm just dealing with the side effects of the reactions of my body, feeling a little bit more pain than usual. Because that's what. And then also, it works as an antidepressant when you take a lot. Like I was taking. So I've done this. I'm dealing with a physical reaction to it. But that's nothing. I couldn't care less about that.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, because it's literally something you gotta wean off of.
exactly.
So
That's what I'm doing.
if you're
Yeah.
taking like half, you're already starting to wean off of it,
Exactly.
but it's still gonna give you some of its benefits, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Uh,
maybe you just don't need that one at all
Oh,
anymore. Who knows?
I plan on stopping it completely. But I want, and the truth of the matter is, I don't need it at all. I can stop it in 2 minutes. In truth, in reality, and
Yeah.
but I don't want to. I don't like the idea of approaching magic like some sort of like a, it's like someone once said we have no problem with when somebody dies. But we have a problem with people who are dying.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right. Yeah.
Dying is a problem for us. He's not healing himself right. Blah, blah. But death is, that's going to happen. But dying leads to death.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't like approaching magic as if I want to say, all right, I'm going to get all my medicine. I'm not going to any more doctors, but I'll use all this other magic.
Right.
I'll use my
Exactly.
clothing, I'll use my glasses, I'll use my jackets, and
Yeah.
I'll use my all these other symbols I use for my happiness and my peace and my joy,
Your body.
my body, everything else but I'll hit the most hardest, most difficult path first, and I'll try to get rid of that.
Yeah,
It's like I don't need food either. I
that's
don't need,
true.
I
There's
don't need anything, and
there's
even the little things I don't need.
there's monks that just live off of the chi.
Yeah,
The chi of like
right.
eating the air, right? They
Yeah,
don't
that's right.
even need to eat. So I hear you. I hear you, but we're like
That's why
yeah.
it's like Christian Science. I was in Christian Science for a while, and I heard one of them say, "We have to eat for now because we're ready to stop eating." But for some reason, that's not taken into take. They don't say that with medicine.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I don't think everyone is ready to throw away all their medicine.
Right. Yeah.
And so some people just will be too scared to do that, and it's not going to help them to walk around terrified because fear is what leads to the problem.
Right. True. True that. That's
Yeah.
perfect. Wow. Well, I'm glad you're back.
Oh, yeah,
And I'm glad that you've been able to look at this for yourself personally, because that's all we have to do. We each have to look at our own personal minds and
yeah,
do this thing. And
yeah.
it helps everybody. So when you do it, you're helping me and you're helping Lynn and you're helping Dove and Sharon and everybody. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to do it. I'm afraid I'm going to die. I'm from suffering, from being sick. I'm certain that situation X is going to turn out a certain way, and I'm never really concerned about that kind of thing. Things just turn out the way they turn out.
Yeah.
I mean, if it gets really, really physical, sometimes you get concerned.
Oh,
So,
not me. Just the other day, this like my son was sick.
yeah,
And he was also dog sitting in Leduc, which is 20 minutes away from the city. So he was commuting back and forth for work, but then he couldn't work because he was so sick. And of course, in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, he's so here I am, concerned situation X is going to turn out a certain way, thinking he's new at this job that he just got, not
right,
like a month ago. And I'm like, I'm sure. And it's a seasonal job. So he's not guaranteed to get on there full time. So
right.
I'm thinking he's going to get fired. He'll go
Okay.
in and they're going to say, yeah, we don't need you because he's been sick for three shifts
Yeah, sure,
already
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
in a
They have a
row. And I'm like,
and,
you can't be that sick. Well, guess what? My husband's sick now. He's got the same cold and he never misses work, seldom. And
right.
he's home today. Like he
Yeah,
can't. So being concerned that situation X is going to turn out a certain way, and it never did. He
all
went
right.
back to work, my son. He's fine. They're happy. He's there. Like I just make it up. It's a
Yeah.
made up whole like delusion.
Yep.
It's delusional.
Yep.
So yeah, I still am stuck there. I just did it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same. That's what happens when the situation can get really sort of when it can get really real, as they say. When that shit just get real. When that
Yeah.
happens, when stuff gets really real.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
actually when stuff gets the opposite of real in truth, when stuff gets really ego, when you really get stuck on that ego, and you really think you're vulnerable, you really think you're able to be a victim. When that happens, when you really feel victimized, for instance, when death really feels like it's there, when sickness really feels like it's there, when I felt like I really couldn't walk, when that really happens,
Yes.
then you get concerned that things are going to turn out a certain way. I was convinced that something was going to turn out a certain way
Yeah.
for a few days at least. Definitely, I was convinced. I was like, "Wow, this is." Because I'm in stage 3. So stage 3, that according to the doctors, once it happens, it happens.
Oh, wow.
So I was just, that's it. And my wife was like, this is it. No, it happens quickly, and there it is. Okay, no more walking for you.
Wow.
But that wasn't the case.
Isn't
Yeah,
that amazing?
yeah. I
Hmm.
mean, I'm not walking great, but I'm walking the same way I was before that 10 days.
Right.
So I mean, I can accept that. I mean, I can get better. You know, I mean, I'm doing well I mean, I've had this for almost 20 years now.
Yeah.
I had it when I was 38 years old. So at some point, who knows? I mean, maybe I'll even get better. Who knows?
You don't know. You
I don't know.
can't because
I can't predict. I shouldn't think in terms of a certain way.
well, exactly, because you're in your mind, you're thinking that's it, or when is the next time gonna be?
Exactly.
When it could be never, because
Hmm.
maybe it's not gonna be that way for you. Like, what is early onset Parkinson's? Maybe you got it at 38, so you can lose it at 58. You
Exactly.
don't
Exactly.
know. You don't
It
know.
gives me a lot of time to think in a certain way. And the only certain way you should be thinking is to think in a way, see myself as healed.
Mm,
If I can see myself as totally healed, for instance, I used to, when I was everyone, I've done this before. Every once in a while, I envision a TV set, and
mm.
the news people on the TV set going, "Cure for Parkinson's tonight at 7."
Yeah,
They always,
nice.
and then I see that little things like that, like I'm healed. Or I see myself healed. I see myself doing things I don't do anymore.
Mm,
And then as far as the how is concerned, I kind of leave that up to the universe. Because I wouldn't know how. If I knew how, then I'd have the cure. So
right.
I leave that up to God. I leave that up to the universe, and then and I ask God, can you heal me, or do whatever it is that's beyond healing that you want to do, and then leave it up to God. I mean, I figure He'll either heal me because He can, and it's really up to me. I mean, if whether or not I fear healing or not. I mean, do I want to walk around and say, "Hey, look at me, I'm healed. Like God healed me. I got." That's almost I feel it's to a certain extent you feel like it's a responsibility.
Mm.
Does that mean I have to try, so uh, because it really you should be able to allow yourself to be healed just by allowing yourself to be healed.
Lynn's got her hand up.
Ooh, go Lynn.
Hmm.
Oh,
Hmm.
I just was thinking as you were saying that, Wayne, guess who, was actually tortured and murdered and died, and
Oh,
his body was healed, and he was walking around and he wasn't saying, "Hey, look at me, I'm healed," but everybody else was going, "Hey,
oh, Jesus.
I thought you were dead." Yes, yes, because
Right.
isn't that the point of what we're doing here? Is to
Yes.
become associated with the Christ mind,
Hmm.
so that we're no longer identified with the body.
Yes, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that's how you're going to be healed. You're going to be healed by becoming the truth, remembering the truth of what you are. And yes, Jesus still had holes in his hand.
Yeah.
He still had holes. He was able to show people, yep, it's me. I'm the same guy, because that was necessary for them to see, or else they
Yeah.
wouldn't have believed it was him, or some of
Yep.
them would have believed it was him. So, our idea of what healing is first vastly different than obviously God's idea.
Yeah. I know. That's the thing. I mean, that's why I said whatever it is you want to do beyond what I want. I have no problem with approaching God and saying I want physical healing. I've never had a problem with that.
Heck no,
It's
go right ahead.
I mean, it's obvious I want what I want, and He knows what I want. I mean, He's not gonna God. My higher power, the God within, is not gonna be upset with me because you're shallow man. How can you want physical healing? But if there's something else that's better than that, I think God will hook me up with that also. As long as I ask Him to, or healing is whatever it. For instance, we learned yesterday that the healing is looking for the experience that brings us to God, whatever that experience is.
Exactly. And that's it.
Uh,
That's all we need. So anyway, I'm
yeah.
going to mute my mic and turn it back to you guys.
Okay.
Thank you, Lynn. We'll get going in our reading here, hey, Rev Wayne?
Yes, sorry. So I think we're done with that whole section there. No.
Yeah. Well, there's
Oh, there's
afraid to,
more.
there's more.
I'm afraid of letting somebody down. I'm afraid of losing a relationship, and I'm afraid of being afraid.
Yeah, I was afraid of losing a relationship for a while there because I
Oh
was
yeah.
thinking, but you and I talked about it, Rev Wayne, when I was like, do I have to leave my marriage to go? Like, I'm scared that I'm gonna be told to, go to, this was before the monastery thing with DH there. Like, am I gonna have to go stay somewhere and leave my kids and family? And you and I had a really good session about that. And
Yeah, no, I remember.
yeah, so I'm good with that now. But
That's good.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm afraid of letting somebody down. I mean, I'm afraid of losing a relationship. I mean, I had before I got married. I mean, I was actually always afraid. I wasn't afraid, but I was always concerned that I would stick my head out more than that my girlfriend or whoever it was would stick their head out.
Yeah.
So I used to always say to my girlfriend, especially as Lisa, I said, Lisa, we cannot break up. She thought I was nuts. I said, what do you mean we can't break up? You gonna stalk me if I break up with you? I said, no. I said, no. What I'm saying is this. I said, we can't choose to break up. Otherwise, we will eventually make that choice. But if we, so I had a thing about like it's a baseball game. You play baseball, no one ever chooses to strike out. It doesn't help the team at all. Nothing comes good out of a strikeout.
Right.
You're better off getting hit by the ball, taking base. Even a ground out is better because somebody might advance.
Yeah.
But to choose to strike out is stupid. Who does that? So same thing, right? So same thing with this. We can't choose to
Wow.
lose this relationship. If you make that choice, if I make that choice, then that's it. So we cannot choose to break up. And as long as we do that, we'll always make the choice to work shit out.
Mm.
And so that's what we did. And that's what we've always done. Since and so we fall into problems, we fight. And sometimes we always say, oh, maybe we should just do this. Maybe you should get your own place. But then we fall back into, all right, we're not, we don't. I said to her, people do strike out, but it happens to them in a sense. They don't want to strike out.
Mm.
No one says, I think I'll strike out today 3 times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you, that's what I am. And I did that because I was concerned that I'd be dumped.
Yeah.
And by this I mean, all right, now I can't be dumped because she agreed never to dump me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
and it was great because we were married before we were married.
Right. It's nice. Good job.
And it worked out well because our marriage was easy. Our marriage was not going to be just for us. Our marriage, since we already felt married, we did our marriage was for everybody else. So we didn't care whatever my parents and her parents wanted. We did. It was very easy for us.
That's
But
beautiful.
but it came from the idea that I was concerned that I'd lose the relationship unless I made some rules and guidelines.
Well,
So
that's perfect. I have a good one that I've made with Mike myself, and that he's promised me that I get to die first. So isn't that awesome?
yeah, I'm definitely gonna die first too. Well, my wife
Oh.
says my wife says if I don't die first, we're in big trouble. With the family go down in flames, she says.
Oh my God,
It's
that's
probably
so
true.
funny.
Probably true.
What
Anyway,
about the I'm afraid of being afraid?
well, that's actually interesting because I know that's what got me in trouble before I got sick. I was afraid of the thoughts, the negative thoughts.
Mm,
I was afraid to think negatively. I was afraid. I didn't realize that, but I was the positive thinking as I understood it back then. It got me was actually hurtful because before I got the positive thinking as I understood it, before I got into it, I wasn't afraid of my thoughts.
yeah,
And I could watch anything I
yeah.
wanted on TV, listen to any music I
Me
wanted.
too.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, you're right.
suddenly I was like, oh my God, I can't listen to that. I can't watch that. I can't do this. I can't do that. I have to think positively. I can't, what's in my brain? I have to be careful. And suddenly I was unknowingly, I was suppressing what I didn't want to think and expressing what I wanted to think.
Yeah,
And so I was afraid of being afraid. I was afraid of fear.
yeah.
Nothing to fear but fear itself. I was fearing fear. This is what she said, and it came in the cross with me fearing negative thinking.
I agree. That's where I went with it too. Like I was like in this forever spin for years of, oh my God, I can't get rid of these negative thoughts. There's something wrong with me, that my brain doesn't work. I need a chip in my brain. I can't, I can't do this manifesting. I couldn't do the affirmations. None of it works for me. Oh, it was horrible. But then I found the course too, which helped.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
One of the ways that helps me too is I start saying that kind of stuff. I realize that it's coming from, as you believe, or as men think it, so it is so. As you believe, it's done unto you. So the minute that's like falling into a trap, I try to say to myself, well, this is what I believe. And it's the axiom. The minute you start thinking about something, it's what you experience.
Right.
So all you have to do is thinking differently. But the key is, I found, is not to think differently to the extent that you suppress the other stuff. Just think differently, and it's more of a slow, subtle replacement. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
if I'm dreaming of if I'm experiencing a lot of pain, I don't try to get rid of the pain as opposed to just seeing myself painless, and then pain will subtly dissolve on its own, as opposed to pretending there's no pain, or I'll see the pain as a sensation. Or as the text says, if you call pain pleasure, it'll feel good. And if you call pleasure pain, it'll feel terrible. Really, so I'll start calling the pain pleasure. And it usually works. I mean, this was different this past 10 days, all because I was depressed and I wasn't doing anything. I was sitting there looking at the walls.
Yeah.
But generally, I'm good at that. I call everything. I don't call it pain usually. I call it a sensation, and I try very much to allow myself to see it and feel it for what I think for what it is, just a sensation that really is taking place in my mind.
Exactly.
Even doctors can say that. So
yeah, that's true.
I can interpret the pain any way I want. All right.
Well, I guess I backed us up a bit. We were actually in this next section.
Oh, were we? Huh.
Yeah, where she's just saying, she's taking these and she's flipping them into, oh, I believe I can be hurt and suffer. I really do believe in death.
This is why we are experiencing these issues.
Yeah, the body can hurt me. I might be alone. Still believe there are some things that can't be forgiven. This was making our list as we made our list of the beliefs of fears, and then she's looking. We're looking at the fears and asking, what does the fear show I believe?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what we're looking at. I'm afraid of being afraid. Well, what does that mean? I still believe there are some things that can't be forgiven.
Right, I see.
That's what I think she's doing with these.
Right, I see. I believe that body can hurt me. Yeah, that's always what it is. We believe that we can be hurt.
I'm afraid of being sick. That's what she believes.
Right, absolutely. There's a lot of all of us essentially. No one wants to be tapped and it's time to leave the party.
Yeah.
We all want to stay at the party as long as possible, even if we hate the party, even if we're miserable here. For the most part, that's what we call suicidal. What we call people who want to leave the party.
We don't want to leave the party because someone tells us to, but
exactly.
If I want to leave the party, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. that's what they call suicidal, though. They thought, oh, she's suicidal. Why? She wants to leave the party on her own.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
It's not only that we want to stay as long as the party, but we shame people who want to leave the party.
Right.
So stay at the party or you're a joke. And then people who want to leave the party are depressed, and that's why they want to leave. It's a strange party. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It's a strange party with a lot of people who are nuts, or everyone is pretty much nuts. But still, it's a party, and we like parties, so we want to stay. No one wants to get tapped. But we all get tapped. But the thing is, there are other parties. We leave, go to other parties, or we go, as Lynn once said, we leave the whole concept of going to parties and go somewhere else.
Yeah. It's
that
no
part?
longer a party, it's a siesta time.
Yeah, something. There's a festival.
Mhm.
There's a festival or something.
So we got to get really honest
Right.
about the icky beliefs that we hold, right?
Yes. And feel a strong tendency to turn away from them. The ego does not like being directly examined by you and your inner therapist to work toward its undoing.
Mhm.
Why would it like that, right? It might be
Exactly.
trying kicking and up more anxiety or fear to prevent you from looking at it, or come up with 20 ultra important things like checking Facebook that absolutely must be done first. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
Procrastination. Not only that, anxiety is just a manifestation of the death principle. That death is real. Death is anxiety. If you think about that, when I feel anxious and fearful and miserable and pessimistic, all those that are negative come from the concept and the belief in death.
Right.
And so once you realize that, and death, of course, is not real, and that can lead you right back into getting rid of the concept of anxiety without pushing. I don't have to push. I'm very well aware that death is not real, so therefore all of its friends are not real either. All of its little buddies, the anxiety and misery and suffering, and all this that hang out with death all the time. They're all a bunch of losers, and they're all a bunch of fake hoaxes that are not real. And then you walk around, and the ego can complain all it wants. It's just you just let it complain and don't disagree with it, and then move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shut up, death.
Yeah, and allowing the allowance of it, not denying what's coming up,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
welcoming it.
Yeah, welcome it. Exactly.
Like
Because
Rumi says, that whatever's knocking at the door, if it's
exactly.
like anger, jealousy, hatred, open up your door, let them in, come sit at the table, right?
Exactly. I always say have some tea, have a cup of coffee,
Yeah.
blabber on if you want, but what you think I should be doing, but I'm not going to do it. If anger says yell, scream, it's that person's fault. I'm not going to yell. I'm not going to scream or blame anybody. But thanks for your advice.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for
that's all.
checking
Yeah,
in.
yeah. Thanks. Yeah, exactly. And if you want to stay over, you can stay over. But I'm not going to listen to you.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, anger can come in handy to the extent that anger tells you what to do. You do the opposite. Fear tells you what to do. You do the opposite. And then fear and anger will probably leave because we're useless. We're actually helping him.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this guy. He doesn't even do what I'm telling him to do.
No,
I'm out of here.
Yeah, exactly. But anger has specific plans. Anger feeds off reasons to be angry. And then you don't even have to look at yourself. I mean, anger, the emotional life just says feeding of every little interprets things in terms of anger and frustration and misery and pain. Everything begins to look just like that. Look like painful and victimization. Everything is seen in that light. Everything is seen through that light, and especially these days with what's going on in the world, everything is seen through the light. Of who's going to get into office and what that means for us and so forth, and as opposed to just realizing that most of the world's actually working out pretty well. I mean, if everything was the way we see it on TV, if everyone was like that, then the world would be blown up. The whole world would blow up. Yeah. Well, a small percentage of the world that are really nuts. I mean, we're all nuts, but only a small percentage of the world are criminals. Let's put it that way. All right, so the ego flares up. You want to read that?
Yeah. These are ego flare-ups, and having them means you are doing good work. Woohoo!
All right.
If you experience these tendencies, go at your own pace. Back off if you need to, or ask your inner therapist for help. The ego is actually more afraid of love than it is of fear. And that is why it will resist the counsel of the voice for love within you. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yes, it's wonderful.
The ego is actually more afraid of love than it is of fear. And that is why it will resist the counsel of the voice for love within you.
I think about if you think about the ego as darkness
Yeah.
and love is light, you can see why darkness is afraid of light,
Mm,
because darkness can't exist with light.
that's
The
right.
minute light comes in darkness, it shines the darkness away. So the ego is darkness. The ego has no place in light. So the ego is terrified of light
That's right. Yeah.
because darkness is like, oh no, here comes the light. It's gone. It's like if you're sleeping and sometimes the light's on really bright, to wake you up. Don't shy away from anything. Turn toward the pain and discover it when you feel ready to. And imagine your inner therapist right beside you. You can say to yourself, I am willing to look at this with my inner therapist. It will be comforting to remember that you are not looking at it alone.
Mm,
Yeah, you're sitting there with Holy Spirit, Jesus, the inner therapist, and you're looking at stuff, and you're realizing that is just a picture of course, of devastation. It's a picture of misery and pain and suffering, and all that stuff has nothing to do with what's really going on.
mhm.
All that stuff speaks to your vulnerability. All that stuff is pain and pleasure, pain and pleasure, pain and pleasure. I posted this just recently. Pain and pleasure are the it's the roller coaster that it has one goal, and this actually points to the fact that it says you are the body, you are the body, you are the body, you are the body, you are vulnerable, and you are the body, you are vulnerable, and you are the body. That's what pain and pleasure is trying to teach you. There is no spiritual life. There is no spirit. There is only one life, and you die. And if there is more than one life, you're going to hell, or I'll be there waiting for you when you come back. That's what the
Yeah.
ego says. He goes, I got you.
Mm,
I'll take care of you, which it has no interest in doing.
yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Mhm.
All right.
Now we have a meditation to notice fear.
Sweet.
Mm. You want to read it to us?
Okay. Anxiety sufferers, Anxiety sufferers have a gift. We have a very easy time recognizing even the faintest sense of fear. This meditation is designed to help you turn toward any subtle fear and bring it to the light of love to be healed. Ground with the breath, notice it coming in and going out. You can always come back to the breath if you need to orient yourself to the present moment. Notice the subtle fear in your body or mind. Holding the fear in your awareness, turn toward your inner therapist and say, Inner therapist, I am willing to look at this fear with you in order to allow it to be undone. I do not want to keep it hidden. I want to know the peace that I am.
Mm,
Every time we catch a fleeting sense of fear and bring it to the light of love, we are working to undo every false perception in our mind and to remember who we truly are. Every time we bring fear to our inner therapist, we benefit, even though we may not immediately recognize how. Imagine that the fear coming up is a layer of an onion. As you look at the fear with your inner therapist, imagine the layer is being peeled back and removed. Continue bringing every subtle fear to your inner therapist as you notice it. Repeat this process until you've brought every fear that you are aware of to the light of love. Fear healing, peeling back all the layers. Peeling back all the layers of the onion.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, rest and trust that peace is
No.
already here. Hidden in the center of this onion is your awareness of the love and peace that you are. You are simply allowing the removal of all the blocks to your awareness of this peace. Rest and trust that peace is already here, and you can accept that peace now.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like the idea that the part of our being that we think is part of our being that is suffering and miserable and takes on the negative interpretations of life and so it's not who we are, but it's not really even it's part of the world of separation, so therefore it's not real. In other words, I'm not really suffering. I'm not really depressed. I wasn't depressed last week. That was not really me. That was my small constricted self.
Yeah.
So I that's how I was able to that's how I'm able to see it. I mean, it was no more me than it is now.
Nice.
I mean, it's no more me than it is now. Last week when I was watching myself, the more I was able to watch myself from a distance and from above my body, so to speak, the more I was seeing things correctly.
Beautiful, yeah.
As opposed to being in the body or being the body. You hear a lot of people who say that, yoga people, the body speaks, you listen to your body, so forth, and the body does this, the body, that's nice. But I like to think a bit more in terms of the body is something that is a thought in the mind we're producing. And so it's and therefore it's no different than anything else. And we're beyond the body. We're beyond the body. We're the mind that's creating the body and everything else around us. So just stick around there, and then so therefore the peace of mind is not the piece of the brain; it's the piece of the mind around that's producing everything. The action steps. I think the action steps might be based on what we just read.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, what am I feeling? What thoughts are going through my mind? And then get radically honest. Write down every fear you can think of.
Wow.
So there's more.
Yeah.
Look at each fear and ask yourself, what does this fear show me that I believe? And that's what she did before. Make a list of underlying beliefs, and behind each fearful or judgmental thought, save the list. You'll use it in step 5. So that's actually a pretty cool idea. You write down all your fears, and suddenly it's not that they become more real, but it's kind of like they become more. In a sense, I guess you could say they become more real. They become more there. You can face them easier. So they're out of your so-called brain. They're out of your so-called head.
Yeah, and maybe you can look. Well, I think she's teaching us too, or our inner therapist will teach us how to look at it in that other way, right?
Yes.
It's like first we got to be aware of what we're even thinking here. Like what's going on here? Because I didn't even realize there were thoughts that came before my feelings, like of anger or annoyance. When I went into therapy, cognitive behavioral, and they asked me, well, what are you thinking? It's like nothing. I have no thoughts. But if that were true, if I had no thoughts, I would be at peace.
Absolutely.
Because when I'm thinking with God, I'm not thinking at all. So, I mean, I was mixed right up with it. And that's easy to do because that's the world.
Yep.
Right?
Yep, absolutely.
That's this world.
Yeah, so it's hard because everything. I think Keith, he said something. I forget what it was, but he said something that was sort of. I think it was we have to try to. What the heck was it? We have to try to. I forget, but everything is backwards. In other words, you have to.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to empty your head. You're not really thinking when you're no thoughts, but you're really only thinking when you think with God. That's the only. You're not thinking when you think you're thinking.
Right. Yeah.
You're thinking, and you're thinking when you think you're not thinking.
Yeah.
Because God, the only real thoughts are the thoughts you think with God. Those are your only real thoughts. But that, from our perspective, it feels like nothing.
Yeah, that feels like nothing.
Because God's thoughts are just purely peaceful. And that's how it feels when we receive his thoughts and his insights and his beingness. We feel absolutely empty of all problems. So what thoughts are needed?
Yeah, no thoughts.
But it doesn't mean that we're not thinking. We're thinking correctly. We're thinking with God's thoughts. And God's will becomes our will, and our will is God's will. And so we're all set then.
All set.
Mind straightening mantra.
Ooh.
I notice this fearful thought about X just zip through my mind. I'm willing to look at it with you, inner therapist.
There it is. That's the work. When the thoughts come, we look at it with whatever we call the Holy Spirit, inner therapist, inner guide, source, love. That's
That's
it.
what lesson 14 is about. It's
Yeah.
why let a parade of all your personal and collective hells go by you, and eventually whatever comes up, I let go by me, and I say God did not make that, so it has no meaning and doesn't exist. And then the next thing, and usually they end up being somewhat similar for me, somewhat similar in because one leads off the other, one goes off the other, and sort of like it turns into a chain where it's similar. And I start letting go of all the negativity, and I'm left with nothing. And then I do it again, and it becomes it's like the one lesson I can do over and over again, and get more clear, more clear, more clear.
Yeah, nice.
And, so it's just like that. I'm willing to look at it with you. And when you do that, if you do a lesson, that's how you. That's one of the ways I look at it with the inner therapist. It's the lesson that is the inner therapist. I mean, if you think about it, the course is the mind of Christ.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, where else are you going to find the mind of Christ? At least if you're a course student, that's where you find it. If you're a course teacher, that's where you find it. You find it in that book. I'm not saying you should the words, but the words are symbols of ideas. The ideas are the thoughts of Jesus. So if you read the book and you study the book, then you are looking at the world through the eyes with Jesus, with Christ. So you can use your imagination and imagine someone sitting next to you. But the more you read that book, the more you'll get a feel for Jesus sitting next to you.
Yeah.
Because there's so many Jesuses out there, so to speak, that if you start doing it on your own, who knows what Jesus you'll get? You might get something that has some. But if you want the course in Christ consciousness, then you want to kind of narrow. I guess you can narrow your focus to the mind of Christ as presented to me in the book. Sometimes I veer off a little, like with the impersonal life, but it's close enough.
Yeah. Yeah. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the journal prompt here? Or what does it feel like to write out your fears? What does it feel like to write out the underlying beliefs behind the fears? Well, I think at first it was overwhelming for me to even think about them, let alone write them out. Does it feel overwhelming or does it feel like a relief? Whatever your reaction, be honest about it. You are looking directly at what is coming up for you, and this is a courageous thing to do. It is indeed, isn't it? Because you're facing those fears.
It's actually pretty cool. Once you start looking at pictures that you can't really look at because they hurt,
Yeah.
and you start clearing up those pictures, you start taking those pains and suffering, because you realize that the pain and suffering represent ideas and pictures that aren't real. They represent separation when there's nothing but unity there. Once you realize that, and then now you can look at those same images, same pictures, and you're cool with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now all that fear, and that fear is gone. Now you can keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it until all your fears are gone. When that happens, time to go home.
Time to go home.
At
Beautiful.
this point, I'm still dealing with fear at this point. It's okay. So all my friends, and so it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. So what time is it? Oh, we have 10 minutes. We have time. Step 4. Acknowledge that fear is coming from your split mind. Yes. It's interesting. This whole cosmos is a split mind.
Yeah.
And one of the interesting things about the course is that consciousness itself is the issue. It's not as if consciousness is the helper. I mean, once you get to the initial seed level of the cosmos, that seed level is the duality. I mean, there is the real world and there is this world, but the real world itself is still a part of the dream.
Right.
As we understand it. So the once we wake up completely, the world's going to be totally different than this.
Yeah, it would have to be.
So fear coming from the split mind. We are in the split mind. There's the wrong mind and the right mind, and so we want to hit the right mind and be in the right mind. But the idea that You know, we live in a dual system. We live in the ego's game. It's always going to be the ego's game, and that we set up for ourselves. And consciousness is the issue. I mean, once we get rid of, consciousness, you can't have consciousness automatically is duality, because you can't have consciousness without something to be conscious of.
Right.
Otherwise, it's not consciousness. You can't have awareness without something to be aware of. Yeah, that's what awareness is. Awareness is I'm aware of something.
Yes.
So automatically, awareness comes as part of the ego's game. You can get to a place where the awareness is so subtle and beautiful, and what it's aware of is itself, so to speak. And that's why it's so high and so beautiful and so wonderful, that you are, instead of being many and being an infinite number of pieces, you're two. I mean, it's a subtle two.
A subtle two.
Yeah, but you're not one yet. And when the oneness comes,
Right.
when God wakes you up, and then you're back to one.
Nice. Right. The subtle two. And then there aren't all the others either. And
Yeah,
then you
exactly.
go, and then God lifts you up.
Yeah.
And it's all of us. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Subtle two we are and be. Yeah, so that's all we can do. We can only, God brings us, we bring ourselves to the gates of heaven, and then God opens the doors for us.
Beautiful.
I heard Ken say that. Okay, so what we see out there in the world is a reflection or projection of what is in our minds. It's true. On a superficial level, that means that if I see Susie as immature, judgmental, and catty, then we can see that I must have those qualities within myself. Now, yesterday we learned that that's the purpose of being here, is to see the qualities that are negative or as positive, but for the most part, we assume negative in others, so I can learn about who I am.
Well, yeah, because how could I see Susie as catty if I didn't know what that was myself?
Exactly.
And so I must have it.
Right. And that's our purpose. See, I knew that as sort of, if you spot it, you got it. And I understood that, but I didn't think in terms of that's why we're here, is to see that is to spot it. So is to spot it. We're here to spot it.
Yeah.
We're here to have the experience of realizing that we are one with everybody else. I mean, I did realize that, but it was just, it's put it in perspective for me. We're here to have the experience of seeing seeing our negativity in others, so we can actually become one with them.
Right.
Every experience we have is supposed to be helping us come towards to God, and God is found in the sonship, in relationship,
Yeah. Wow. That's so good. That's so good, because I mean, I've read this before, but there's just like not read this specific thing, but I've heard of that before, right? When you spot it, you got it,
right,
blah, blah, blah. But there's a depth in this today. Like, that if I don't like something that I'm seeing, I haven't accepted God.
Yeah.
Because I haven't accepted myself as love.
Well, you're separating from the other person. You're separating from the other, and you're separating from yourself. You're believing in separation is what you're doing. You're saying that person is no good, that person's this, that person's that, and you're separating from yourself. You're saying I am not this, I am not that. That those things you're throwing away from yourself, and you're saying I live in a separation where I have to be, they're my friend. That's not my friend. That's my friend. That person's my friend.
Yeah.
And it's an ego thing. And I mean, who wants to believe that what they're looking at is just them in a different form? If they don't like what they're looking at.
Well, exactly. If I I'm denying that. I'm saying like Susie's immature, judgmental, and catty. God, Susie sucks.
And then who wants to hear if you said that to me and I go, well, that means you suck too.
Yeah, well, it takes one to know one.
Exactly. Who wants to hear that? If you you have to be very careful how you present this.
That's so true. It takes one to know one, yet I can't say that
If you
within
spot it, you got it,
myself.
baby.
That makes me mad. I'm like, I don't got that. But yet I
Exactly.
can say back, it takes one to know one. That's so
Exactly. Yeah,
good.
try that one. Yeah.
Wow. Oh
Yeah.
my God, that's funny.
All right. So,
Okay. The course, however, goes deeper than this. I am responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings I experience and I decide upon the goal I would achieve. And everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for and receive as I have asked. That's from the text, chapter 21.
yeah.
Every fear and anxiety that we think of as happening to us originates in the sleeping part of our child mind, which believes in an ego. Since part of our child mind is asleep and part of it is awake and home in love, we can say that it is split. Some of the things that we originate and then project from this place are not so nice. Remember, this sleeping part of the mind holds a lot of guilt and fear.
So it's still we're going to bed at night. It's, the guilt and fear that we carry through the day is expressed in the dreams of the night. The wishes that we have for ourselves during the day that go unfulfilled, we have fantasies at night about, and we fulfill them in our dreams. Wish fulfillment. That's how the whole thing is set up. Any desires and wishes that we have that are not fulfilled, we do it at night. And so she sort of, remember that seeing part of our mind holds guilt and fear. All the guilt and fear that we hold because what we think we did in killing God, we express in the dream by putting ourselves as the hero of the dream, and that we get everything we want.
Yeah.
We set up a whole situation where the guilt can go away through the death of Christ and all this kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Perfect.
and then when it's not following that, go to hell, disappear. That's the brilliant brilliant answer to the problem. Form a little club of people that are going to heaven and get rid of the rest.
Come to my club. Join my club.
Yeah, join my little club, and we'll just sit here until everyone else goes away.
I
Hello?
love it.
Oh.
I love it.
All right, so we should probably stop now. I have 2 minutes, so it's a good place to stop. So we'll start next week with, and I'm certainly not implying New Age, my New Age guilt. That everything bad happens. Everything there. All right, so we'll start with there next week.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that was good. Good today. It was enjoyable.
Yeah, you sound great too. Like I love it. Whoops. Sorry, I'm trying to stop share. There we go.
Yeah, you sound great.
Yeah, I see there's some stuff in the chat. It says fear for the future because of our story of the past. In this moment, nothing is happening. Oh, Miss Cher, thank you for talking about your health. Needed to hear this. Oh, welcome, Miss Cher.
Yeah, thank you, Miss Cher.
Yeah. FOMO, fear of missing out. Thank you both so much, Sharon says. And Miss Cher, I've not seen you before here in ACIM Gather, so welcome. If you're new, you're welcome to unmic and say hello if you'd like.
Or not. It's totally up to you.
It's all good.
It's totally up to you. So whatever you'd like to do.
Actually, Miss Cher is an old friend of ours. She used to teach on Gather when I first came in years ago, and she's a good friend of many of us here. So I'm really grateful that she's here with us.
All right. Was that your name back then? Was it always Miss Cher?
No, her name was Sharon, and she changed it to Cher Miracle.
Cher Miracle. Yeah.
Cher's not dressed. Oh boy, we better not have them come on then.
We don't have to see you, honey.
You could just unmic and say hi.
No, it's okay. Whatever you want. So yeah, thanks very much. It was great as usual.
I love this book. I do. I love it. Yeah. I had it on Audible, but I didn't read it. Now I'm going to read it, because just Audible alone doesn't, because she put everything in it. I have to say she's one of the best teachers. I love Corinne. I love her
Yeah.
work.
great.
She's
Yeah,
great.
she's fantastic. And she's so approachable, so easy to read. It's so filled with so
Yes.
much. You know?
And she's very skilled. She's a psychologist, which I think benefits people because she meets people really where they are rather
Yeah.
than, you know, and
Yeah,
that's
I agree.
important to me.
Yeah.
I just love her.
Yeah,
I
she's
So
very
love
thanks for
you. I love you, Sharon.
I love all of this. In fact, now that we're going to turn this off, I have it on Audible and I just put it on Kindle. So I'm gonna do her book because it's a hot day here. How is it where you guys are?
It's pretty hot. Pretty
It's
hot.
hot. It's even
hot.
hot in Canada, you guys. It's
Oh,
like
yeah?
the record temperatures for us.
Oh, really?
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
yes.
amazing.
Yeah, it's
So-
like 90 in the 90s here in Chicago.
Ooh, I don't
it's
know. I
pretty
just
hot.
want to see. I'm going to do a quick conversion because I want to know what our temp is in what's it called in America. So what would 29?
Celsius? No.
Yeah, 29 Celsius.
I don't know. We tried to become metric when I was a kid. It was during the Carter administration. They were all going to be metric. America was turning metric. And it just didn't stick.
Yeah, and American business did not want that. It would cost them too much money to change over.
Yeah. No,
So,
no.
we're
And
stuck
most
with
most Americans were so happy too. Most Americans. Like, thank God.
it. Really, I know. It's like, oh my God. You know,
I
but
don't want to change
what
it.
did you find out?
Yeah,
Audsie?
84.2 Fahrenheit.
84. Yeah,
It's
that's hot in
hot
Canada.
here. That's
Yeah.
freaking
Well,
hot.
you do have summer, don't you? Have summer in Canada or no?
We
Yeah, it's
do.
just north of
We
us.
do, but we're usually, well, sometimes we get 30. That's that temperature, but it's usually in the 20s or, it's usually in the 70s, I would say. But yeah, it's pretty hot here.
Okay, yeah, but not like today's really almost like 95 here.
Well,
Very hot.
I've
Sharon,
never
you,
had it that
where
high.
are you, Sharon?
Pennsylvania. I'm in
Oh,
Pennsylvania.
I see.
How about you?
I'm in Chicago.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So you have weather kind of similar to us, really?
But right now it's
Yeah.
hot as it can be. It's hot and it rains every day right now. It's been raining about a couple hours.
Right, and you have snow. I was supposed to move here
Humid.
years ago.
It's very humid, right? It's
Humid. Oh my God.
Humid.
I like the heat. The humidity, on the other hand, is an adjustment.
that's the worst. That's the
Yeah,
worst. The
yeah,
humidity. If it's
yeah.
nice out, it's dry with a breeze, I don't mind it.
I don't either. But when it's humid, I just,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
the worst. That's the worst.
I
And
think
you know, Sarah probably loved when you were sharing about health because a lot of people don't talk about health in here. And she has well, I have the same issues as her, like just digestive issues and stuff. So that was helpful for her,
Yep.
I'm
to
sure.
hear. Yeah, I'm glad you talk about it too, Redwayne. I appreciate that.
It just makes it so much better for people when you open up because we're all just unfolding this process and it's not necessarily that simple.
No, it's not. It's not.
And there's no sense in pretending that we
No.
don't. You know, there's no sense in pretending that we don't. And
Right.
so it's all perfect.
I agree with you.
Perfect.
I agree. God, you know, I would say this. I don't know one human on the planet, even if they say they have no ego, you have to have a little, I guess, except for
Yeah.
Jesus. That's only my
Well,
interpretation. Whether
you're
I'm right, I don't know.
You're absolutely
Yeah.
right, though, because if you think about it, as I've always said, that most of us are in our ego most of the time. That's why we're here. And
Yeah, we're here for that reason. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
And we're
You know,
mostly,
I think we share a same. We're both we both love Liz Cronkite, right? Do you see her now
oh
or
yeah,
no?
no, I don't see him, but I do like her a lot. I have her.
I do too. I've known her
Yeah.
the whole time I've done the course, and I love
Yeah,
her.
so have I.
She's,
She was the first person I ever spoke to in the course.
me too. And she's the,
Yeah.
and I didn't have it. You know, I got married again, but at the time I didn't have any money. And she
Oh.
said that doesn't matter. So because I went through a divorce and I lost everything. So,
Oh, I see.
so you know, it was just a story, but I was pretty upset.
Of
And
course,
she
of
took
course.
me for free for a couple of years. And so I call on her for what I love about Liz is she's very honest. She doesn't say, she'll still tell you she has ego. But you know,
Oh,
when
yeah.
she went through a really tough time, did you read her book?
I did. Yeah, I know everything. Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right.
Yeah, you
Well,
did.
I'm going to close down the YouTube.
Oh,
All
okay,
right,
okay.
guys.
We
I'll
continue
see you
to have
later tonight. I love you guys.